Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.
Myself Sangeeta Devi from GK Jain School, Rayapura. To have a more update on our educational videos, you can subscribe to our YouTube channel GK Jain School. And if you like our videos, you can just like on it. In today's class, we are going to see 11th standard commerce. So far, we have started on many topics in that objectives of the business unit 2, and we discussed a lot of topics about human activities and economic activities and non-economic activities and differences between the economic and non-economic activities. And in the last session, we have started discussing about the types of economic activities based on the occupation wise. Occupation wise, how we are categorizing the economic activities. One of the things which we discussed in the last session was the employment. In the employment, we discussed about the two main important words. One was the employees, another one was employer. What is the meaning of employee? The one who is going to work for the others. That we tell them as the employee. And if you go for the employer, who is the employer? The one who is going to employ the others. They are going to give them the task. Like that persons, we tell them as an employer. The higher authority. Employee will be the lower level of workers, one who work for the others. So this is what is the two keywords which you all should remember. Why? Because in the upcoming chapters also we will be using these words in the chapters. Why? Because employee, employer in the interview, selections, there and all you will use these words, so that you should be very clear in the differences between these words. And we saw about the employment characteristics. In the employment characteristics, there was mainly 4 characteristics. There should be a contract between the employee and employer, and all they should be following the rules and regulations, and the employee should be assigned a task. They should be given a task to them, and the employee should, very important, they should get a remuneration for the whatever the service they are doing for the others. So this is what is the 4 main characteristics which we discussed in the last session about the employment. That is what is the one of the types of economic activities that is based on the occupation. In today's class, we are going to continue that. We have the 2 more main important classification. One is the profession, that is what we are going to discuss. So what is the meaning of profession? Profession is that it is going to be an occupation, one of the occupation, because it is also whatever the work is going to be done, but in the special and expert in nature, we tell it as a profession. We will have that also the meaning. I have segregated that into 4 hints. We will see one by one. First one is the special and expert in nature. I told you that profession is something, it's going to be a special and expert. This is expert, which let me take it off one example, or you will understand in an easier way. Let me take it off 2 persons, 1, 2. Okay. Both are the joined together, they completed MCOM. Okay, both are the graduates MCOM. Okay, the one who has again continued his studies and completed Inter and the CA. Okay, Inter and the CA he has completed. Now he is more than the graduate, he has done something, an additional course. And that is also professional course he has done. And now if you see the both, they are working in the audit firm. Let me take it up, both are working in the audit firm. Now MCOM completed MCOM completed graduates, what they will do, they will maintain the accounts. Accounting records will be maintained by them. Both of them will maintain. But now what is an inter in the CA or final completed auditing firm? What they will do? They will do something more than the job. They will be, after completing the records, they will cross-verify all the details. All the details in the case, how they are going to verify is that that situation only they can go for. Okay. Now next, this is what is very important. I told you, more than a job, they do something extra work. What is the main work? They all need to maintain the accounting records, but extra what they are doing is the cross verification. Cross verification is that whatever it is done by them is correct or not. The professionally qualified person will be cross verifying those things. So that it is what is about to be more than a job. Usually the job is to be maintain their accounting records. More than a job, they are doing some other activities. Now we go for the fourth word, professionals. The person who is going to be engaged in the profession, we tell them as a professionals. The person who is going to be engaged or involved or who is going to be there in the profession. Profession is that, a special and expert in nature is that, only we tell it as profession. So who is going to be engaged in profession, we tell them as a professionals. So now they are doing some extra work. Obviously there needs to be some extra amount needs to be paid to them. That for doing some professional activities they charge some amount, that we tell it as a professional fees. What is that? Very simple. They are charging some extra amount. What for they are charging? Because they are doing some extra additional works. Both of them are maintaining the accounts. That is their basic job. For that they receive a salaries. But he is completed intern in the chartered accountant. So he has the responsibility that he can cross verify because he is a halfly completed auditor. For if it is going to be a fully completed, he needs to write the final. After that only we will be telling them as a chartered accountant. But the intern completed person has the some responsibility that he can cross verify the accounts. Okay. So in that cross verifications of the accounts, he is doing some extra additional activity. For the activity he is going to charge some amount. Charge the amount as a fees. Like your school fees or admission fees or like that, here it is going to be some fees. That fees we tell it as a professional fees. So this is about the profession. So profession is very easier. It is an occupation, one of the occupations. Profession, employment, business, all they are going to discuss is about the occupations. So profession is an occupation. Here whatever the person's service is going to be done by the person is going to be special and expert. Usually I am also doing some work. You also will be doing all some works. But whenever any person's service is going to be done by a person, it should be a somewhat special or expert in the nature or in the respective areas. It should have some things extra. And more than a job, they do some other activities. And the professionals needs to follow all the government rules. And we will tell what are the things the professional needs to do it and the characteristics we are going to discuss. Okay. So next is professionals. Professional is that a person who is going to engage in the profession. Next we have the professional fees. For doing such activities, they charge some amount as a fees. We tell that as a professional fees. So next we are going to discuss about the characteristics of the profession. What are the characteristics? That also I have made it under the hint. 4 hints. First one is the systematic body of knowledge. Yes. First, if you are a professionally qualified person, you should have some body of knowledge about the work. If in a particular area about the accounts, let me take it off. If you are completed a CA, let me take it off. You are completed CA. Okay, so professionally qualified course only has completed CA. Now you should have the knowledge about the accounts. What is the rules and regulations which needs to be followed? When the GST filing, when the TDS filing needs to be done. Not only with the GST, TDS, income tax filing, we have a lot of filing which is done in the accounts. So that for that and all, the chartered accountant or the professionally qualified person should have the knowledge. The body of knowledge is very important. And if you see about, let me take up GST as example. GST itself we will be having a 12 GST are filing 1, 2, 3 like 12 we have. So in that that, what we'll have is the GST. If it's going to be filed, some GST needs to be filed on 5th, some needs to be filed on 10th, on 12th. This is not a number, it is the date. On the month 5th, some GST needs to be filed. On 10th, it needs to be filed. And 20th, it needs to be filed. If you see, some 5th will be inward and outward and turnover, profit, the GST filing. We have a different categories. So this, all the professionally qualified person should have the knowledge, which needs to be given more importance and which needs to be given preference earlier. If at 20 I need the information which I am going to prepare it on the second, this is of no use. Which is immediately required the 5th date, I need to prepare first. So based on the preferences, I should change. So systematic body of knowledge is very, very important for the professionally qualified person. I am just giving you the example with your books. For any kind of a professionally qualified person also, they should have the systematic body of knowledge. The next one we have is the formal knowledge by the members. Yes, CA, chartered accountant himself will not do all those activities. GST filing, TDS, income IT filing, income tax filing, all the things will not be done by the chartered accountant himself. He will have some members. For the members also should have that formal acquisition of the knowledge. Why? Because if they are not going to have the knowledge about the GST is to be filed on 10 and 20, if he is not having a knowledge, then he himself works on his own. Whatever is easier, he completes first, and whatever it is going to get delayed, he do it at the later dates. Then obviously we cannot file the GST on time. That will be a very difficult task. Yes. So this chartered accountant should share the information, and I make the members also follow the things formally. This needs to be done first. So first to calculate the inward supplies, and next to calculate outward supplies, next to calculate turnover profit. So the chartered accountant should guide them in the formal way. After that, if they formal knowledge is being given to the members, they also do it on the particular date and they file it correctly. So that is what is the second characteristics which we all have it in the profession. The next one, government rules to be followed. Yes, we have a code of conduct. The whatever changes. If you take up the GST itself, it is one from the 2017 only we have this GST. Before that we don't have this GST at all. We have only direct tax and indirect tax. So indirect tax we have a lot of categories like sales tax, VAT, export duty, customs duty. They have a lot of different categories, but all now it is changed to GST. So the CA, that is professionally qualified person, should get updated to the government any changes, and that all rules needs to be followed by them. So on 2017 GST has been changed. All the professionally qualified chartered accountants should change and adopt to the next, what is the change GST. So that is what to be done by who? It needs to be done by them, and this needs to be followed to all the members also. If they are going to follow the same pattern, VAT, sales tax, customs duty or export duty, like that, if I am going to follow the older way, no, it is wrong. We should not follow the older way. Whenever any government is giving a changes, we need to update it to that. The code of conduct and governing bodies need to be followed. Government rules need to be followed by the professionals. The next one, by doing all those professional activities, whatever you are going to do, the uppermost thing which you should have is that service motive. You should have is the service motive. You should never have a profit motive. Why? If I earn profit, we should never have it in our mind with the professionals. Because they are expert and special in nature. So they have a knowledge more than us. They only should guide us in the proper way. So they should do all those activities in the mind of the service motive, not in the motive of profit. No activity should be done in the way of profit. Every activity or things needs to be done in the service motive. So that is what is the uppermost things which the professional needs to have a service number. So these are the characteristics of the profession. So what are the characteristics they have? Systematic body of knowledge, professional knowledge by members, government rules needs to be followed for service motive, not a profit motive. It's true. They will be getting a profit, but their motive should not be profit. Okay. So this is about the characteristics of the profession. So professionals is that person who is going to be engaged in the profession. We tell them as a professionals. So in today's session we have discussed about the profession and the meaning and its characteristics in the class. In the next session we will be having a discussions about the business and its classifications. We will be seeing it in the next session. Thanks for watching.